Welcome to the Fourth Side. I'm your host, Ahmad Hawkins, and we appreciate you joining us for another episode. Before we get started, this episode is presented by UVA Community Credit Union and powered by Keswi. So the Wahoos are 2 weeks removed from their victory versus the University of North Carolina, the Tar Heels. And last week we had an unexpected bye week, so we had to pump the brakes on the game. Late in the week, things came up. That's 2020 for you. You got to learn how to adjust and make good out of the bad. So, if this was a scheduled bye week, guys would have had a lot of time to really recover and get in the classroom, review film, kind of break down what they did the first half of the season. But with it being unexpected, it's a little different. It was a little different for the team. They got it late in the week, but I will say this: they did get an extra week to just heal up, an extra week to rehab, prepare, really study Louisville. And even though we was expecting, to be in the bye week this week, we got a bye week. Regardless of how it turned out and how we felt, we got a bye week, Wahoo fans, but we are back. And you know how we do at the Fourth Side. I need you to go ahead, get these questions rolling, whether you're on Facebook at the Virginia Cavaliers fan site or you're right here on Twitter. Make sure, if you're on Twitter, man, you got to download the Periscope app as well and follow Virginia Cavaliers and follow Virginia football and follow me, of course. And so you always get an alert on your phone when we're going live. We got a special show for you today. Speaking of bye weeks, we got somebody who's on their bye week, somebody who is a young GOAT in the South. And I'm talking about Bryce Hall, one of the top flight corners that have ever played at this university. And he happens to be a really good friend of mine. And, he comes through for his OG. So welcome, Bryce Hall, to the show. Bryce, how you been, bro?
I'm doing good. I appreciate you for having me.
Always, man. I always tell you, man, if I ever got a platform, you always going to be a guest. We just got to match up. So, playing for the JETS, Jets, fifth round pick, had an illustrious career at UVA, one of the best single season, as far as accomplishments at UVA for a defensive back, All American, led the country in pass defense, pass breakups. Kind of take me into your last year of a Wahoo, man. How did that feel? Just, elevating your game the way that you did.
Yeah. Man, my last year was, I never really would have imagined it ending or going the way it was planned. But it was a huge just learning experience, and I think it's really helped me really be able to step into what I'm stepping into now. Just I felt like I grew so much as a leader.
Mm-hmm.
My perspective and the way I see the game, being able to, watch it from a coach's perspective and be able to just really sit in and gain a lot of knowledge from them, and just being more vocal and being more outspoken, as I'm somebody
Mm-hmm.
who usually tries to lead by example. And so, man, I learned so much. I grew so much from my last year, and I'm thankful for it because it's helped me so much step into what I'm stepping into right now, being in the NFL and just everything that comes with it.
Yeah, being that, you had an injury versus Miami last year, and you talked about how it allowed you to see the game from a coach's perspective. The Jets drafted you in the fifth round. You just made your debut this past Monday night, which I was watching the game, and I was just like, wait a minute, I know that run. That's Bryce right there. And so I got excited seeing you, man in the corner, just hustling when they try to run the jet sweep or
hmm
being feisty when a guy scored, you smack the ball out of his hand. I know your temperament, but just talk about just your rehab and how you felt just being out there making your NFL
Yeah.
debut, bro.
Oh man, it was just being out there was a lot of fun. It felt like I was back at UVA just with my brothers out there, and it was fun. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it was different, obviously, with just not there being fans out there and stuff like that. But I mean, it didn't really change too much. It was fun being out there with your brothers, and just going to war. Just I had a good time. It was a little, definitely I had a lot of nerves and just kind of a little anxious before the game. Um, as to be expected. I haven't played in over a year, so.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like I belonged out there. I felt like it was fun. Got my feet wet. I know there's a lot of stuff I need to clean up. I'm still a little, just some technique stuff, and
Yeah.
really got to get going. And I'm excited though. That's what it's all about. The challenge. Now I know, what to expect, and moving forward, there's a long road ahead. But I'm eager, and just keep building from that.
Yeah, man, I was definitely excited. I was giddy when I saw you in the field. We got some fans jumping in. Shout out to Terrence Johnson on Facebook. Facebook question from Ethan. Shout out to Ethan. What's up, Ethan? I know who that is.
What
Is
up,
there
Ethan?
anyone on your team too fast to cover? That's a great question. Anybody on the team too fast for you to cover, Bryce?
Nah, I wouldn't say that. You know who's we got the other rookie receiver, Denzel Mims. He's pretty fast and he's big. He's a long strider. But I was surprised because I feel like I can run with all the guys. And I haven't really lost much of a step. So, and it's just gonna keep getting stronger. And but there's nobody. I'm like, wow, they're running all the way away from me. There's some quick dudes now on our team. Some of the slot receivers, but in terms of like long speed, I wouldn't say so.
Which you have that. You have that long speed. And it's ironic, man, because there was a play that took place in the NFL this year that a lot of professionals wowed over. DK Metcalf running down the defensive back for the Cardinals. I think we got film of that. And
Right.
well, let's just have a little bit of fun to just see how impressive that guy was. Right? Interception. Oh, I'm going to score. Mama, I'm going to dance. And here's that Megatron guy named DK Metcalf running them down, all the hoopla. And I remember on Facebook, and I was just like, man, whatever. Let me show you this, because he went 1 mile an hour faster. And I got a guy named Bryce Hall. You went 22 miles an hour. He went 21. And Daniel Jones went like 21 and some change. So they all was slower than you. So it's ironic that you talk about long speed because, you wasn't able to test because of your foot injury. I know you work with Adapt here in Charlottesville to help you get back right. Our training staff helped you get back right. But when did you feel like – because I told you in the text message you look faster, coming back from the injury. What did you feel like, okay, I got my step back. I'm good now?
Probably the second week back of practice. My first week I was kind of feeling it out a little bit, and that's something too that, that's the biggest thing with, when you're coming back from those injuries is the biggest thing is the mental aspect and having the confidence, to really like go all out and to trust yourself that, okay, I'm good. Like I don't gotta worry or put too much emphasis on that, and that's something that, I still got to deal with. But, okay, I don't know if I was gonna share this story, but like it's pretty cool.
We like exclusive stories here.
Yeah, this honestly really helped me get my confidence back to say like, okay, I was ready. We both know, like I have a strong relationship with the Lord, and one of the things that I feel like he's really been speaking to me lately is in dreams. So we spend, if you think about it, we spend a third of our lives sleeping. So a lot of times we're, and especially as athletes, it's so important to get our sleep and rest. And so like, if you think about it, that's 1/3 of your life. And so why wouldn't, God, speak to you in those areas of your life? And so like, I've been having like these dreams, and I'm like, I don't think it's a coincidence, right? So in my dream, so basically just I'll make a little short story that like, and this helped me have the confidence, like, okay, he's covering me, like I'm ready, I can do this. In this dream, right? So I had this idea of like, I want to either write a book or a podcast. I forget what it was,
Okay.
but it was like, I want to study like the greats and like compile a bunch of information,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to like make a podcast or a book about it, right? And so like there were different scenes in it, but one of the scenes was one of my trainers with the New York Jets. He was in it, and there was a bunch of guys that were on the Jets team, and they were like, you know, they were kind of like they could play, but they were kind of trying to milk it so they could get paid and not have to do any
Mm-hmm.
of the work and stuff like that. And so our trainer, he was yelling at them like, hey, like you gotta, if you want to be great, you gotta push through adversity. You're gonna have nicks and knacks and bangs, but the great ones, they push through those adversity situations. And
Mm-hmm.
so that was one scene. And then in another scene, I was taken to like I was interviewing like Ray Lewis and Deion Sanders, and they were people who like they're of strong faith,
Mm-hmm.
and um, it showed me in that scene, it was like you got to have faith to believe in yourself if you really want to excel and do a lot of great things. Then there was another scene where I was taken back. I was with actually Brett Nelson, and we were talking about,
Oh,
man, when
nice.
we were at UVA sophomore year, that was one of the hardest years that we've ever had, because it just we're coming off 2-10, and coaches were really testing us and pushing us. And then after that year, we went to the bowl game and stuff like that. But a compilation of those scenes, it was like, okay, from the first scene, it was like, okay, I know I got, it doesn't feel always, it's not always feeling 100%, but I got to
Mm-hmm.
really push through it. And so it was like, you're ready, bro. It was like, he was saying, like, you're ready. Even if you don't feel always 100%, it's like, you got to push through those things sometimes. And it's like, it's not always going to be 100%, but the greats, they learn to push through it. And
Mm-hmm.
then, like, just with Ray and them having that faith of, oh, you got to believe in yourself. Like, it takes faith. It takes seeing, like, before anybody else sees it, before
That
it actually
vision.
comes to fruition, you got to believe in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, that gave me confidence. And the next day, the trainer was like, because they were like, you gotta, we want to wait and see like how you feel. And the next day, they were like, we're clearing you. You're gonna start practicing. And
Mm.
I was like, okay, like this was the night before that happened, and so I was like, I felt peace because I'm like, okay, like I'm ready. I know I'm ready. And so that week of practice went, and I had a good week of practice. Like it wasn't really bothering me. And then after that, I started to have like put on better days, and it's just been getting stronger, and I've been
Yeah.
feeling better, better, and better each week. So that was like something that's given me confidence to really help that mental battle, because that's huge. It's like sometimes you doubt, like, am I ready, ready? But
Mm-hmm.
that's something that really helped me mentally be like, okay, I'm good. Let's go.
No, I definitely. That's powerful, man. That the story you showed is powerful. Shared was powerful because vision is powerful. Dreams are powerful, and it talks about your belief and your faith. And like I always say, control what you can control. Worrying doesn't
Right.
change anything. When
Yeah.
we got to be like those birds in Isaiah. They don't worry about their next meal; they just fly.
Mm.
So
Right.
that's dope, man. So we got some more fans. Debo Jordan says he's a big fan of Bryce. Um, Terrence Johnson. Well, shout out to Dave Z with the New York Jets. And then Terrence Johnson on Facebook said, Bryce, do you think the offense intentionally tested you once you entered the game? And do you think you could have covered Hawk in his. Why y'all got to do that? Don't answer the second question. But yeah, do you feel like Cam and that offense targeted you when you were stepping in the game? That's a great question.
Yeah, that is a good question. Well, we know, like, just from studying the Patriots, the one thing they do is like they attack people, and
Mm.
their mindset is they want to try and find like a matchup
Mm-hmm.
mismatch and trying to go and attack them. And so I think a little bit when I first got in the game, I didn't really, honestly though, like I didn't get targeted much when I was in there,
That's
only,
true.
a
Yeah.
couple times.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they were per se, targeting me, but I
Mm-hmm.
think they were definitely, like the one play that they did throw on me and caught it. I think when one of the things they would do is they're good at like figuring out what coverage you're in by doing shifts and motions. And so I think sometimes when they find out like we were in man, that's when they would try and use those opportunities. But I don't feel like I was really targeted much when I got in there. If that helps.
Yeah. I mean, they know better. They know better. And the one they did catch on you, you know, I was going to text you the next day because you know I was going to say, and you know what I'm going to say, when you was running with the guy in the dig route, where was your hand at and where would I tell you to drop your hand to?
Yeah. That's
from the shoulder to the hip.
Told me. Yep.
So that's how I would just say. Once you establish that clamp, you just go ahead and drop the hand on the hip. And once you feel the pressure, you know he going away. So, yeah, man. But, hey, you made the tackle. They got you with a 5. I said, oh, Bryce got a defensive holder penalty. There we go. Welcome back to football, Bryce. So Susan Burkhead asks, how have you seen your injury used for good? You like those type of questions.
Well, I'll say this. You know, I have a beautiful wife now, and part of that I think is because of my injury. You know, when I was going, you know, when I was perfectly, you know, healed and just, you know, pursuing my thing, I really wasn't focused on anything else beside of that. And so the injury, it caused me to really slow down, you know, and realize, you know, who was around me. And one of the, you know, my wife that I'm married to now, we were friends before this, but we really grew so much closer. You know, she would help me out, get me to and from places. And, you know, from that friendship, it flowed into, you know, a relationship. And, you know, it was one of the, like, that was one of the biggest blessings that I've had, you know, the biggest blessing that I've had from this injury, that has, you know, been able to take away from it as a positive. And then, you know, on top of that, you know, I felt like I've grown more closer to the Lord just because of my dependency on him. You know, going into the draft, it's like, you know, I have this, you know, injury that made people, you know, who's going to take a shot on me, who's going to trust and stuff like that. And so it's like I'm dependent on him because it's like he's the one who I felt like told me to come back. And I knew it was for a reason. So it's like, you know, so much and just so much. And then also from a, you know, perspective standpoint of, you know, being in the coaches' circles and just understanding how they look at things and different things like that. And, you know, just coming into the league this year, I was out for the first couple of weeks. I was able to get a tell on, like, you know, how this process works, what to expect, and just kind of listen and learn and soak up stuff. So all that, man, I just would say was helpful.
Like you said, it put you back in, kept you in that lens, that coach's lens of allowing you to receive the information, learn the playbook, because when you got injured versus Miami, you essentially did the same thing. So, I could echo your sentiments. But you talked about your wife. Before we go to break, though, we got to spotlight her because she did so much for you. She's still doing a lot for you. Yeah. You know, pre-show, she did so much for you to make sure you're here. But your wife, her first name is Anzel. How do you pronounce it? Anzel. See, Anzel. My bad. No disrespect, man. I see the husband coming out. Can you say her last name? Because I don't want to mess that up.
Hall.
Her maiden name. No. The maiden name. Because she was an all ACC. She was an all ACC field hockey player at UVA. So I want the folks to put two and two together. See, that's how you know Bryce just got married. Because a guy asking his wife's name and then last name, he's like, no, you just know she Miss Hall. How about that? And I'm his homeboy, so you know he. Woo, Bryce. That boy. Hey man, I don't need to switch, Bryce. I need the middle Bryce, okay?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, man. So look, we're gonna go to a break. I want you to stick around because we got to make some ACC picks. You don't have to be aficionado. You could go off just the information you had on these teams from last year, and you could just always pick against Tech. That's always the easiest one. So we're gonna go to break. Fans, stay tuned. This is the Fourth Side. Got Bryce Hall joining us today. We'll be right back.
You'll find we have a way about us. It comes from being unafraid of the hard things never losing sight of the little things. And when all is said and done, coming together to enjoy the good days. Because every inch, every number, every call we earn for the salt of the coast, for the stones of the capital, for the hug of Skyline Drive, for all Virginia.
Welcome back to the Fourth Side. I'm your host, Amon Hawkins. Today's guest is former Wahoo All-American cornerback and current New York Jets defensive back, my guy Bryce Hall. And this is the ACC Pick'em segment. Is the whole segment presented by Red Diamond Coffee and Tea now? Man, Red Diamond, I need some of that coffee and tea. I likes my tea because I do intermittent fasting, and that's all I could drink with flavor is tea. Okay, so shoot me some tea. So you ready to make some picks, B Hall?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So you following? Man, it's amazing how the universe aligns things. So the other Bryce Perkins, I believe he got all his picks right. He even picked Liberty over Virginia Tech, and he made sure he texted me as soon as that game was over, especially when that timeout was called by Virginia Tech on their block field goal. Oh, he got the Notre Dame, and he called Notre Dame. He called the Notre Dame one too. Man, Bryce is something else. So I ain't putting no pressure on you, Bryce, but let's see how you do this week, okay? Because I've been terrible. Y'all been beating me. I'm just trash. So we got number 9, Miami, going to Blacksburg to play Virginia Tech at noon. Who's your pick? It's on ESPN, by the way.
You know, man, I got Miami, and obviously that's the classic pick. But I think they've been on the come up lately, huh?
Yeah, they've been on the come up. They got a nice quarterback, the King. So I'm gonna keep my jinx going. Every time I pick Virginia Tech, they've lost, and every time I pick against them, they won. And maybe it's not a jinx anymore because I let it out the hat. But Virginia Tech going to beat Miami, man. I don't believe in the King down there in Blacksburg. The King don't like the cold. How about that? So I'm going with Virginia Tech again, Virginia fans, okay? So that's who I got. So he got Miami. I got Virginia Tech. Speaking of the field goal, y'all petty. Look at y'all. Look at that. Boy, I love my producers, man. And that field goal kicker got bigger arms than me. And shout out to his story because I read about his story. So salute to him and the Liberty Flames for their victory. Next up, we got Wake Forest traveling to Chapel Hill on ACC Network at noon. Who you got in this barn burner?
I'm going to go UNC. I think UNC is going to pull this one out.
Yeah, you know what, Bryce is straight to the point. I'm going UNC. I got UNC as well, man. I think, Wake Forest has been doing a good job this year of being balanced and, using chunk plays, but producer said it's a chance for UNC to sweep this tobacco road. So, they just beat Duke. They beat NC State too, and now they got Wake Forest. And I see North Carolina getting back to being balanced. Their two backs both averaging over 100 yards, and we know how Sam Howard does with his receivers. So I just don't think Wake Forest could keep up with UNC, even though they like chunk plays just like UNC. So,
right.
Yeah, and the Wahoos beat them. So I think they're going to be pissed off. So, sorry, Wake Forest, but they're going to be mad. They're a little jelly. And next up, we got the hangover game is what I'm calling it. I'm not going to say that joke, but they rushed the field. So, I'm amazed they got all their players after they rushed the field. So we got number 2 Notre Dame traveling to Boston College, 3:30 on ABC. You think Notre Dame gonna have a letdown game after upsetting Clemson last week, Bryce?
I think Notre Dame's gonna pull out the win, and I think just with the past history between these two matchups, I feel like Notre Dame has always gotten the upper hand against Boston College, so I think I'm gonna just go off of past experiences. I think Notre Dame's gonna pull through and they're gonna win this one.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I got Notre Dame. Notre Dame impressed me with their ability to run the football versus Clemson, and then making plays on third down in the passing game. and the way their defense played versus Etienne and that offense of Clemson. You know, Bama don't break, making them settle for 3. Boston College does have a very good team. I just see right here, They said Boston College almost beat Clemson. Oh, yeah, Boston College did almost beat Clemson in the freshman quarterback. But they ain't look as good as Notre Dame did versus them. So I'm going with look, they trying to sell me at Clemson. I'm going with Notre Dame. I almost so Bryce got me to change from Clemson to Notre Dame last week. He sold me. So they trying to sell me like Bryce sold me. And then this game, we already know who we have as the winner, but I need your expertise because you play defensive back versus this spread out offense of Louisville. They got a namesake at running back. The last name is Hawkins, and he is phenomenal because of that last name. But he is legit, though. But what do you think the Hoos need to do to beat Louisville? And it's sponsored by Red Diamond Coffee and Tea, 3:30 at Scott Stadium.
I think defense needs to be on point, of course. You know I'm saying that. And I think the secondary is going to really show up. I think last year when we played them, it was a really, really tight game. I think there was obviously just a couple of plays that, we wish we had back, the fly sweep and, that came down to, just tackling and making sure we contain them. So I think UVA is going to, obviously, they're going to come out on top. And I think it's going to be, their defense will be, key in shutting down, a lot of the speed that Louisville has. And that's going to be key. And I think, we're improving as, in the secondary, especially with just tackling and things like that. So I think if we're strong in those areas, I think we'll be good.
So shout out to Brandon Despain from Facebook. Look, I'm not going to – I could give my analysis again, but since I have you here and I know the elephant in the room, the fans want to know, what do you feel like from your lens that the guys on the island, because you played that field corner, what do you think they can improve on versus Louisville to be successful in order to win those 50-50 balls and stop the deep ball versus, receivers? Yeah.
Well, I think, a lot of times it's really just, just the want to, and I think our guys, they play hard, they're in position to make plays, it's just, like he said, it's those 50-50 balls, and it's the want to. And I think they've been doing, they've been doing a good job of just being in position, and I think, and then the next key is just, that want to, when the ball's in the air, believing that it's your ball. And if we do that, I think we'll be in good standing.
Yeah, appreciate that. So a couple more shout-outs from the fans. Like, they love you, man. So Debo Johnson said, well, let me give you a shout-out first. Kelly Hill says you are Revis 2.0 in the building.
Oh, wow.
Revis? And then Debo Johnson got a quick question for you before we let you out of here. Do you still get jitters when you hit the field?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's I get jitters before every game. And but just, obviously once I get in, that first pop, it's like, okay, I'm ready to go. I'm locked in. But, yeah, I don't think that'll ever change. It's just, ever since I was a kid, man, just before I step on the field, I get excited, get a little bit of jitters. But, yeah, I still get those jitters.
Well, I tell you this, if jitters ever leave, it's time to go because your respect for the game has left. And that's why you get jitters because you respect the game, you respect the guys across from you, and you understand the work you put in. So definitely, man. So look, man, anything you want to say to the fan base before you leave? They definitely were excited. They got to talk to you. Everybody's always asking me about you. What's your message to the fourth side? Because you were a guy that lived off the energy from the fourth side.
Yeah, I just want to say how much I appreciate y'all, Wahoo Nation, and just we really, I just really believe in what Coach Mendenhall is doing here. It's a special program, and when as I've been since I got into the league, it's like you realize there's a couple guys on the team at the Jets that have been trained under Coach Mendenhall, and it's pretty rare, like the culture and just what he's instilled into us, and his vision. His vision is just, very unique. And just one thing y'all should know about, where this program is going and who's leading it is we truly have one of a kind in Coach Mendenhall. And, I appreciate everything that he's passed on and instilled into me. And it's like, for guys on the team, like if you really buy into what he's preaching, it'll help you be very successful, not only in football, just in life down the road. And so that's one thing I've been super thankful for. Not too many people get to experience and go through what we've gone through. And, it's rare in the, even in the NFL, like some of those things. So I'll say that. And, that's all I really got.
Hey, man, well, I definitely appreciate you, brother. You know my love for you.
Yes.
I'm only a phone call away, only a text away, and you know how we communicate, man. But I'm definitely proud of you. You're just getting started, and I'm even more proud of the man you become off the field, because that's what it's all about. So blessings to you and your wife on your recent union. And thank you, man, for taking time out your day to be a part of the Force side, bro. Definitely appreciate it.
Of course, brother. Anything.
All right, fans. Well, we're going to go to another break, and when we come back, we can go to the keys of the game versus Louisville. We'll be right back on the Force side. To the Fourth Side. I'm your host, Amon Hawkins. Again, man, we appreciate Wahoo All-American, current New York Jet, Bryce Hall, for joining the show today. And salute to my man, RVA who was the fan fanatic. He got called to do something with his job, so he wasn't able to join us today. And Bryce is actually like his favorite player, so the universe had it aligned. But other things came into play. But salute to RVA who, man, the Twitter legend. All you Wahoo fans know who RVA who is. So right now, man, we got to get into the Charlottesville Chevy keys to the game. How are we going to defeat the Louisville Cardinals? And here are the keys. Clip the Hawks' wings. I don't know how comfortable I am saying that but I'm going to say it because I know we talk about Javion Hawkins, the running back. You see how the producers do with me? Like, I was kind of like not going to say that, but Wahoo, this is for you. Clip the Hawks' wings, man. The dude is leading the ACC in rushing, 117 yards a game, ran for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns last year versus UVA. And also Cunningham can beat you through play action passes by the Hawks. So we got to clip his wings. Secondly, man, we got to sustain offensive drives, just like we did versus North Carolina. The time of possession will be a huge stat because they're so explosive on offense. So our offense could be our best defense in the sense of maintaining possession, being very stout at the line of scrimmage, and being very balanced. And last thing, second verse, same as the first. Oh, that's a ball. Really similar to UNC yet again, man. It's a dynamic offense with big playability in the air and on the ground. Brendan Armstrong said after Carolina, they weren't really accustomed to shootouts, but adjusted and won the game. The mindset will be important. So that's very important for those guys to come out and play under control. The one thing I liked versus UNC is that we answered the bell. Every time they try to push the tempo, they score quick. We came back. We answered in our own way. We didn't try to keep up with them as far as, they score big, we're going to score big. Even though, the swing pass to Simpson was a big play, but it was a simple play. So sometimes, like they say, keep it simple. I'm not going to say the last word. So that's what we need to do. and we can work our way back up to 500, man. We just got to keep it rolling. So, the Wahoos, you know what to do. We got an extra week for Louisville. They got an extra week for us. COVID, who's going to be back? We know we got our weapons back. Lavelle Davis is back. We got Ronnie Walker available. Got a new toy. So, who knows, man? Who knows? So, that's it for the Force Side, man. I definitely appreciate you guys tuning in as always, following on Facebook. Shout out to the Virginia Cavaliers Facebook fan page, man. Salute to y'all. Y'all know I always come in and interact with you guys. Everybody on Twitter, salute, interact. Make sure you follow every platform. You always know how to find us and when we're going to go live. The Force Side, this is for you, the fans. And a special shout out, and I dedicate this episode to my Aunt Laverne, who passed away. She lost her battle with cancer yesterday, and she's smiling down on Wahoo Nation and on her nephew. So love you, Aunt Laverne. Force Side, we out.